right. Well, welcome everyone to the 2021 VAMA Technology Seminar. My name's Jordan. I am the technology specialist here. You'll see me around the department, and if you do, please say hello. I just started this year. Been working for the department about 6 months now, and I'm here to help with any of your technology needs, questions, just making sure everything's working and getting you connected so you can make your best work here in the department. Jared, I'll hand it off to you if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Jared Rodriguez, everybody. I'm one of the leads of the department for photography, journalism, and multimedia graphic design. We have some other programs coming along down the lines as well. So we do video. We're doing some 3D stuff, for game design and animation and different things like that. It's just not posted on here as part of, our main areas. So we oversee quite a bit of different areas when it comes to. So I'll be one of the ones that you'll see on campus pretty frequently. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Even after this, I could throw my email in the chat. So I'll do that real quick.
Also, Paul Weinrock, he can't be here today, but he is the department chair, and anyone getting involved in the VAMA department will surely meet him too.
Indeed.
Okay. So yeah, today we're just here to talk about technology, of course. A lot of gear, equipment, and computers recommendations, and just in general, what it requires in the program. So one of the major questions, of course, when it comes to working in media is PC or Macintosh. And both are really great options. It depends on really what you're used to and what you prefer. Wouldn't you say, Jared?
Yes, most definitely. And there's going to be a lot of things that you could use either one for. So it does really come down a lot of times to preference. There are very few things that are going to be output wise. So depending on what you're going to be working on, we'll cover that here in a little bit. But output wise, it may need to be Apple because Apple's a little bit more proprietary than others, depending on what you're doing. And that would mainly be for like applications or games or something like that you're going to output to an Apple phone or iPad or something to that effect.
And another question comes down to, do you want to have a desktop or a laptop? And both also good options, but you want to find the one that's more suitable for you and your workflow and what you need to get done as far as what kind of performance you need to complete the tasks, portability, of course, and often cases, if you can have both, that's best, but most of the time we can only pick one or the other. So there's a lot to consider.
Yeah, and we also have the external hardware that you all will see. We have a cage where you can check things out. We call it the cage. We lock everything up in there and you can check things out for devices that are external, like Wacom tablets or different audio input devices. So for a DAW system, digital audio workstation, we have those that you can check out, and you will be using some of those in some of the classes, depending on, what you're taking, what you come here for, and or maybe what you want to explore, because there's a lot of different ways that you have some of your classes that you could take, or maybe, if you just want to see what this area is like, we have other certificates that they're a little smaller, but they kind of get you into that realm of things. So if you're going for photography and you want to see what video is like, you can get into some of those parts of it. Or if you want to see what graphic design is like, or maybe game design or animation or something to that effect, then we have some different things like that we offer, and you're able to take those and you're able to check things out from the cage. We have tutors, we have our own lab. Some of the classrooms are open for work when it isn't, being used by the class. And we also have been partnering up with esports. So we're starting an esports league at the college if anybody's interested in that. But our department is one of the areas that is really pushing for that and supporting that to happen with student life and student services. So we want to design for games, but we also want to play them, because you have to play to be a game designer and such. And yeah, we have a lot to offer. So
yeah, I think also depending on what your area of study is will also influence whether you want a desktop or a laptop. Anyone in particular, I would say anyone involved in game design, 3D work, you're going to probably want to look at a desktop, because desktops are more easily upgradable in their components than laptops can be. Laptops are all kind of built in, integrated, not really designed to be changed. And like you mentioned, towers, desktops, those have components that are more easily upgradable. Specifically with PC units, Windows type systems, desktops are very customizable in what kind of components you want to use. Macintosh, as far as their desktops go, they can also have some limited customized features, like you can change the RAM, certain things, but they're typically more limited than PCs can be. That's just something to be aware of. And in both cases, PC or Macintosh, laptops are even more limited in their capacity to be upgraded. So this next slide, directed towards photography majors. This can also be found on our website. And this goes over, between, we have Windows on the left, Apple on the right, and the columns adjacent to those are on the lower end of what kind of specifications you could prefer to have in the program, and on the right, the higher end.
yeah, and if you all have any questions at any time, feel free to chime in. You can use the chat if you don't feel comfortable talking, or you could unmute yourself and ask us any questions.
Yes, please. Videography majors is a lot of similar specifications, but more graphics intense than photography majors. So for videography majors, things such as memory are a little bit more of a factor. Same with your graphics processing unit.
Yeah, so these are some specs, everybody. And if you didn't notice in the last slide, you'll see that one is for Windows. So at the top left corner of the kind of maroonish box here.
Oops.
Yeah, it'll say Windows. And yeah, just on this slide, it's different. So the top right one says Windows at the top left corner of that box. And the bottom section right there, the bottom box, has Apple at the top left corner. These are just some specifications that we have the minimum recommendations on, that a laptop or a tower that you are looking at should have to be able to run the programs. We really did some research into, what Adobe, what Autodesk, and what a lot of these different softwares are supporting hardware wise. And then we put that in here so that you can have a base minimum machine that is going to allow you to get your work done and not get bogged down too much, or not get kicked out by the program because it doesn't like your graphics card, for instance, or your sound card or something to that effect. Okay, so that's what these ones are. So these are kind of like the minimum specs that would get you through the program and allow you to, work outside without hopefully any hiccups, other than what software might bring. And then on the higher end, that's a higher end recommendation right next to it. And those ones are going to have some of the specifications to what is a little bit more of a beefier machine in this case. I guess that's the easiest way to put it, because these machines are going to tend to be a little faster. They're going to probably last a bit longer because of the technology going towards those parts of it. They tend to be supported for longer periods of time, like the graphics cards and such. RTX 2060 is in the GPU section of the Windows. for the higher end recommendations, and then for the lower end recommendations or the minimums, 1650 is an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650. That's just the graphics card, and you would see that in any of the things that you're searching for. So whether you're looking on Dell or you're looking on iBuyPower.com, we have a lot of those things listed on our webpage. Or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Jordan and I love to do this stuff. We love to look at parts and stuff. You know, it's kind of our amazing world because we deal with it all the time. So you'll see on the higher end cards there, they will tend to last a few more years. So, you know, when you're putting money into this, that's one thing to recommend. I recommend you looking at, my machine's getting pretty old, but it's lasted me quite a while because I did put a few extra dollars in to get something a little bit beefier and have something like the higher end recommendations would suggest. Okay. So the higher end is not a must, but the minimum recommendations I would say is.
And here's a slide just with the general costs. You'll definitely save a bit of money going PC.
Mm-hmm. You could think of devices that you have too, right? So some people like the Apple to Apple linkage. And there's ways of doing it with PC, but sometimes it's not as straightforward as Apple.
Yeah, if you're someone that already has iPhone, iPad, and you want to keep everything you're doing all within the same sort of environment, Apple would be a sound choice for you. Definitely.
But PC wouldn't throw you off in that case if you wanted to still get something, you know, a little more either bang for your buck, depending on what you're going for. Or you know, if you just wanted a starter computer, you know, I did that in school as well. I got me kind of a starter computer, and I went between Apple and PC. So I use both platforms. And yeah, for me, I kind of go with what I need at the time. And PC sometimes was the economical choice, and sometimes I got a iMac Pro so that I can work for people that both had PC and Apple, and we can talk about dual booting, right? Boot camping and different things like that. So I could have Windows on one side and then Apple products on the other side. So if you have any questions about that, that is something that we've done as well. So we can definitely help you with that.
Yeah. And in either case, Apple or PC, our department has both. And depending on what classroom you're in, you're either using PC or Apple. And same with our labs. The Open Lab has both. So when you arrive to use a computer, you can choose if you would rather sit down at a iMac or a Windows HP machine. So let's talk about software. As a student, you get a license, or sorry, as a VAMA student, you get an Adobe license. And that's the full Creative Cloud suite: Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects, Premiere, the whole gamut, really. And yeah, that's all rolled in to what you're given as a student. And you can access that through the ROC, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. So the ROC, everybody, is when you log in. So when you're a student, the website that you would go to for Red Rocks Community College is a website that anybody can go to. But if you go to the portal, which we call the ROC, it does take you to what Jordan was talking about, and it's going to house a lot of different things that only as a student or, you know, a teacher or something like that. Because you could also look for employment at the school. You know, like work study, maybe you're interested in working in our department. We actually need people a lot of the times to, you know, help other students out and such. So we have student employees that you can actually access the ROC, and then it'll open up to different things for you. So the instructions that you'll see coming up, if you're already a student, a VAMA student, then you're going to be able to get the Adobe suite through that portal.
Yep. And included not just Adobe, but also Microsoft 365, which is the whole suite of Microsoft, you know, Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Those are the major ones I can recall.
Yeah, we're also using some of the Autodesk products, which the nice thing about Autodesk is that as long as you're a student, they allow you to use a good majority of their software for free. So we use like Autodesk Maya, 3ds Max, and Mudbox, and different programs like that. And right now, as a student, you don't even have to be a VAMA student, but you can use your student email address to log into Autodesk as a student, and then you could download those programs should you want to start messing with them now and kind of seeing, do I like 3D or do I want to get into that? Do I want to mess with AutoCAD? Do I want to get into architectural or engineering or something like that? You could play with all that stuff, and sometimes we'll even work with I've worked with architects and stuff like that, being a 3D animator, special effects artist, and game designer. So you can actually cross those bridges as well, using something like the Autodesk software, and you can actually access it now. Same thing with the Unreal Engine and Unity. Those are some of the ones that we use, and those are free to you as well.
Included with that is OneDrive storage, but there's also other cloud storage you can consider. Backblaze, Carbonite. You might prefer Google Drive. Those are also other things to consider when you're moving around different machines from classroom to classroom, or the lab, or your home office. Cloud storage will let you access from any point. So here's a link to the portal where you can find the Office 365. And you can also find that in the portal when you log in.
And we have directions on these too, should you need them. They're on the web page here. So you're seeing some ways to access them now. And if we didn't make this part clear, the Office 365 is going to be something as a student that you get as paid for through the college. So this and Adobe in that case. So this would be like the logging into it and how you can access it and download it onto your machine.
And so this slide, this is about how to access remotely into one of our machines here in the department. And with that, you can use any of our computing resources off-site. So say you have a laptop, you're needing to render video, but your video card isn't that great and it takes a long time, and your project's due tomorrow, something, for example. You can use the remote access VMware client, and we can go into how to set that up and everything later, but just know that it's there. And with that, you can log in, you can bring up your project virtually on one of the machines here, and say, if you do that in one of the labs that has one of the nicer computers, log into that, and you're able to render the video much more quickly in that example using one of our machines virtually.
Has anybody ever done that?
Remote access. It's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's like opening a computer within a computer.
And then you can use something like Google Drive or something to, move your documents from one machine to the other, so you could share with yourself essentially. But what you're using your computer as would be a controller. So you're actually just controlling the other machine at the school, and then you're processing everything you would, as working on your computer, but you're really controlling that computer at the school. So like Jordan said earlier, if anybody's ever done any rendering via video or 3D stuff, or whatever, that can really also heat up something like a laptop. So if you feel your laptop heating up and you're afraid of burning it out, then you might want to think of accessing the VMware here. And we're working with IT for some other stuff, because currently the VMware, I believe, is still through the PC lab. Is that right, Jordan?
Yeah.
And then I think we're trying to get Splashtop along with them to be able to link to the Apple machine. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to connect to the Apple machines.
Mhm.
Mm.
And if that's something that you want to do or have interest in or a necessity for, please talk to us and we'll get you set up. Okay, so we talked about the Adobe software. Logging into Adobe, you'll be prompted, since it's a business account, or a company school account, I should say, you'll have to use your S number to log in. Yeah, you can download the Adobe website. And you can find more discounted software on the hub, which is through the college. And it's pretty much the library of software that's on discount available to students through our organization.
Mhm. And these ones will be specific to Red Rocks Community College.
Mhm.
So some of the pricing can vary with whatever deals they make from college to college. This one is specifically for our college.
Okay, so this slide's about where to find the deals. So, locally, we have a few options: Micro Center, Best Buy, Action PC. Buying locally is always good, but if you need to purchase online, you have more options. Newegg.com is pretty big. Mac Sales for your Apple products. Amazon.com, of course. B&H Photo Video, we use a lot of their equipment from their website. Adorama.com and iBuyPower.com for building PCs. When you're searching, always keep your eye out for education pricing, because with your student ID, you're eligible for student pricing with, Apple Photo Video. B&H does an educational program. So some more examples here.
Yeah, they have a really good one actually. B&H.
Yeah. And it never hurts to ask. And then, we have a point about thumb drives. They can be pretty slow, but if you are able, having an external hard drive, a dedicated external hard drive, and even better than that, if you can get a dedicated external solid state drive,
Mhm.
that is really quick. Quick on transfers and, getting to what you need when you need it. And when you're looking at what you want to buy, you also want to consider what you're going to do with it, which I mentioned before. But if you know you're going to be doing a lot of work in After Effects, it's probably in your interest to go and see what the minimum requirements are for After Effects before you purchase. And any example that you think you'll find yourself using a software pretty heavily, just have a quick peek at their minimum requirements. And that'll help inform your decision. Video cards, they can go down pretty deep in the rabbit hole about what they can do and what features they have. But
yeah.
generally, you just want to be aware of what they can do and how they can improve what you're doing. In Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, they don't require any heavy duty graphics cards, but they do have some accelerated features that are enabled by graphics cards, such as changing image sizes, using certain effects like blur and liquefy, certain brush effects, and warping and perspective 3D effects, things like that. Also using their zoom and flick pan is graphics card enabled. And that's just pretty much so you can, zoom in really quickly, zoom out really quickly, and you won't have any sort of lag or stutter. GPUs are also good for accelerating your video encoding in Premiere, After Effects. If you're using AutoCAD or any 3D software, video cards are really helpful.
Extremely helpful.
Yeah. And rendering VR effects, 3D simulations, environments, cinematic effects, that'll all get a big boost from having a solid video card with at least 4 gigs memory, preferably 8. Other things that graphics cards help, are processing millions of high resolution images at once, deep machine learning, AI, chess championships, those computers,
Right.
those are running on a lot of graphics cards to have that sort of predictability and learning and stuff. And then also they're used to crunch big numbers, big calculations, big data analysis. Video cards are specifically designed to perform well at those tasks.
Yeah, and when you get into some of the other parts of it, like the 3D rendering a scene. So if you've seen any Disney Pixar movies, something to that effect, the entire scene has to be calculated. A lot of that is offloaded to the graphics cards nowadays, especially for GPU acceleration, in order to calculate how the light, for instance, just like the light even in this room is coming through, how it's passing through refractively and reflectively through, maybe a plastic bottle, a glass bottle, or something to that effect. Any other simulations like Jordan was mentioning when it comes to a wind blowing, and if it's blowing things like objects in the scene, whether they're particles or whether they're actual objects or whether they're cloth or hair and stuff like that, then all of that actually gets offloaded to the graphics card. And that's the same thing for games. So a lot of the game engines have it figured out for real-time rendering so that you could run through a scene and still interact with it. That has to be processed live, and it's pretty amazing. But that's where the graphics cards can set you aside and give you a better boost when it comes to having to deal with such massive scenes. And they are really big. We get lucky because we get to go watch the movies or we get to play the games after they're already made. But as you're doing it, you're having to tweak all these things and you're having to work with these massive environments. And the bigger companies can obviously do quite a bit, but there's a lot of things that we can do at our levels. So a lot of that will be graphic card intensive, if you will.
Definitely. And yeah, I love to geek out over this stuff. So if anyone has any questions, I will talk shop all day. Just let me know. All right, so we're moving on. These are our hours coming up for the fall in our labs and darkroom. Depending on where you need to be, just have a close look at this. It's kind of looks like it's a bit different depending on where you need and what day you need to be there. So this will be posted around the department. It's also posted on the website, and it's also on the VAMA TV, which is in the department, just a big TV we have where you can go to see, slides of our latest news and events and things going on in the department. Any information that's critical, you can find there too. We also have a tutor available as a resource to VAMA students, available Mondays and Tuesdays, and you can reserve time with the tutor as well as reserve time in the computer lab or a classroom, the dark room, the photo studio, your equipment checkout. All of that is reserved at the VAMA bookings page, which is linked on our website right on the front. And yeah, so you go to our bookings page and you pick what service you want, whether it's tutor or where you want to check out a session in one of the labs, any of that, like I mentioned. You select that, you decide what time you're picking, and it submits to me or the department chair. We'll either touch base with you and, see what you need more specifically, if you're checking out equipment, or, if the tutor, if you want to meet in person or online, we'll follow up. So talking about what's available among the classrooms, labs, we have 2 classrooms that are iMac based and 2 classrooms that are PC based. And then our open lab is a combination of both. Our classrooms with iMacs just got brand new machines, both classrooms, new iMac Pros and new iMacs in the other. We also have very powerful desktop computers in our other 2 classrooms. And we also offer both iMac and Windows in the lab, but it paired with a Wacom Cintiq tablets, which are on the desks available. You just sit down to it and you can get started. I don't think our Corel classes until the spring, but you can use the Wacom Cintiqs in Illustrator as well.
Illustrator, Photoshop.
Yep.
Most definitely. Even in the 3D programs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I haven't tried that.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, the digital sculpting and stuff. You'll love it.
That's great. We also have a number of printers. Our print lab is where you'll find most of them, but we do have some out in the open lab as well, in case you need to do any major printing in the open lab. We have large format printers, inkjet, and we have options among those if you need something on a roll, if you want to print edge to edge, like a banner. You can print large posters. We have some printers such as the Canon Pixma Pro ones, which have a really wide color range. We also have the Epsons, which have a really small droplet size, which are really nice for producing black and white. And so depending on what you're printing, we have a printer that's built out to fit that need pretty well. We also have scanning stations. We have a film scanning station as well, if you want to take your film reel and digitize. We have a light booth, and we have cutting stations and a whole range of cutters, trimmers, blades you can use. We have mat board and a station to just put all that together where you need to. Is there any other points you want to make here, Jared?
Not necessarily. I think a cool addition though would be that the printers can also support different types of paper. So I thought that was always really cool with the printing class. So some people were printing on like this bamboo paper. Some people were printing on metallic paper. So it has like this iridescent, shiny, and almost 3D like quality to it. And yeah, so that is offered with the classes, and it's a little added cost for the separate papers and such, but it's a fantastic way of working. And some of the results there have been some people who have gone into professional printing because of these classes and the different Canon and Epson printers and different things like that they were able to play with at our school. So yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, a lot of options for media and for printing. Here's a couple pictures. These are the 2 classrooms that are iMac based that just received new machines, which I just mentioned. Room 0564, that is the print lab that has iMac Pros that are brand new. You can see some of the printers there in the back too. We have the large formats over there in the corner. And then on the right, the photo here is room 0561. This just got brand new iMacs And for both of these rooms, these machines are super capable and they're just awesome. You could probably throw anything at them and they'll crunch it easy.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And as you can see, 0561 is a lot of where we have the audio classes, and that will go along with the audio studio when you take these classes. So yeah, so I do have a picture of the studio later, the audio studio.
No, I do not have a picture of the audio studio.
No worries. I think we have it on the website too or something to that effect. So,
okay.
But yeah, when you guys take these classes, man, these machines are fantastic. You're going to love it.
Yeah, they're great. And we're operating on Big Sur, which is the latest operating system from Apple. And as far as PC, we're on Windows 10 right now. Although I have heard Windows 11 is coming out later this year, but I think we probably won't switch over to Windows 11 in a hurry. So
right.
Windows 10 and Big Sur is where we're at. Here's just a list of some of the software that we've mentioned already, but we are going to have available on the computers in the classrooms. The full Adobe Creative Suite, Corel Painter, a whole list of Autodesk products such as Maya, Revit, Mudbox, Apple Logic, Unreal Engine, and Unity, which are both 3D render engines. Blender and Maya, 3ds Max, ZBrush, and a lot more. It's quite a list.
Yeah, it's pretty vast.
Yeah. IT just let me know yesterday that our department is like the biggest as far as demanding software installation.
Hands down.
Yeah, we have a lot. And we also have a lot of resources in the Cage, which Jared mentioned before. The Cage is just what we call our locker for all of the equipment that's available to students and instructors for checkout on and off campus. And there you can find a whole bunch of equipment to suit your needs, from Wacom tablets to point and shoot cameras. You can check out DSLR bodies, different lenses, recorders, microphones. We have a whole range of studio support gear, such as tripods, lighting systems, light boxes, flashes, LEDs. We have a lot. And currently I'm getting a big list together. So you soon will be able to go to our website and just click on our link, which will give you an idea of what we have. It's a lot, so I'm still building this list out, but you can also talk to your instructor or myself if you have any question about what's available and what would be a good piece of gear to have for your project. And you can book all that through our bookings page, which is also on our website. Another thing to point out is our social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And I recommend you find us and follow us on all of the platforms, especially YouTube, because YouTube has a lot of great resources on our events and some videos from our instructors even that go over their courses, and maybe a course that you're planning on taking this fall or in the spring. Also, if you're going to post anything that's related to your student work or VAMA content, we also ask that you use our hashtag RRCCVAMA. You can also use hashtag RRCC Media Arts, hashtag Red Rocks Community College, and you'll get your content featured on our Instagram or Facebook.
It's a great way to network as well, everybody. There are
Yeah.
a lot of working professionals that follow us on here. So it's a good way to get to know some of them, maybe get an internship or maybe have possibilities, opportunities, or even get to learn from others. It's pretty big. It's growing pretty quickly, and there's a lot of different people that belong to this. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
a great way to go.
great way to see what's going on, like the latest in the department, and just to meet your peers. We have not only our Facebook page, but also a Facebook group that can be really interactive.
Mhm. We work along with uh, professional what do you call it, like AIGA, right? So professional
Yeah.
groups. Yeah, and AIGA,
Yeah.
if anybody doesn't know what AIGA is, it started off as a graphic design group, but it's become pretty much all encompassing. So as a student, you can get a membership for $50, and then you could do anything the AIGA puts on. We put on things like Design Slam, where we have multiple colleges come together and our students compete against each other. You could sign up to compete, or you could just watch, or we have other things going on, which is really fun. And we'll be doing a couple of those this year. We'll be doing our student chapter ones, and we'll be doing the state one. But you could also visit AIGA. They have guest speakers, they have seminars, they have a bunch of different things that you can do, even just to go network um, and meet working professionals. And sometimes you can get jobs out of it. You can get people to learn from, just like I was saying before. And you could just make connections that could, allow you for more opportunities in the realm that you're getting into. And it could be any of the realms, because everybody is belonging to a lot of these. And AIGA is one of the ones that is open up to the 3D arts, the 2D arts,
Mhm.
the motion picture arts and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. And there's other organizations that we'll be working with as well. So those are on the social media, but they're also an option for you to join for pretty cheap as a student. It's not so cheap
Mhm.
for us working professionals.
Yeah, the AIGA, that's the American Institute of Graphic Arts.
Yep.
And I think it's this fall, we are taking part, at least our student chapter, we're combining with the REMCAD, Rocky Mountain College Art and Design, and putting on I think it's going to be a virtual event, but it's the Colorado State AIGA conference. And I'm pretty sure that's this fall. And I've heard really good things.
Mhm.
And it's a collaboration, I mean, of our school, REMCAD, I think Warren Tech as well. So as an extracurricular kind of networking option, AIGA is great. Does anyone have any
Does anybody have any
questions?
questions? Questions. Feel free to unmute yourself. Nathan, Leonidas, Tony, Karen, if you want to say anything about the library and stuff like that, we partner with Karen. We probably bug Karen all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some more stuff to send to you, Karen.
But if there's
Got a
I'm
anything you
so
lot
want to
going
add,
on
behind.
here.
No, and the library does have laptops available for students to check out for this semester. They probably don't meet most of the minimum specs for the things that you need in the VAMA program, but they certainly will help you get through in terms of, some of your other classes, writing papers, things like that. And you can use them to access VM labs, so you can get in and use things on those as well. So
yeah, we had a student that was doing that. So if you all were to check out a laptop from the library, then you can access the VMware and get onto one of the machines in one of our labs, so that you can still, use something heavy like Adobe Premiere or After Effects or something to that effect, and still be able to get your stuff done, get your work done, and have fun. It is a lot of fun. We're pretty lucky. We get to teach the stuff that's fun. So
Yeah.
any questions, anybody? Tony, Nathan, Leonidas?
I don't have any questions.
Well, if you decided that you have any questions, I did put my my email in the chat, so you can all get that. It's also online at the VAMA page. So I put the VAMA page in the chat as well. So feel free to reach out to me, to Jordan,
Mhm.
later on to Paul and Karen. Karen's always easy to talk to, and she's extremely helpful. So, but if you have any questions for us, feel free to reach out.
I was
And
you
actually
can do
just
that.
about to ask about that.
you want to
Yeah.
ask about monitors?
Well, just the whole video card thing, because I'm gonna be doing photography. So I was just wondering how much I actually have to worry about the video card, because I'm only taking 2 classes at a time right now, and it's gonna
Mhm.
be digital capture processing 1 and photo image capture 1.
Ah, right on.
So I'm just starting off with just those 2 right now because I'm still working too. So I was just wondering how much I actually have to worry about a video card.
Yeah.
If you're going PC wise, you're going to want to match up a video card that's going to allow you to get the best out of whatever monitor you purchase. And that would be the same for Apple too, in a sense, if you're gonna have 2 monitors. But generally, Apple has a little more high res monitors, and they definitely charge you for that. But yeah, I would say that's one of the first things to pay attention to there. Just make sure that that's gonna fit with, if you have a graphics card that's not gonna run a 4K monitor, then that would be an instance where you'd want to get a different graphics card, or maybe an external graphics card, because they do have those now as well. So yeah, I would say that would be the first thing to look at.
Yeah.
And then if you're thinking of doing any videography, or, because there's a lot of photographers that will do motion as well. So if you decide to go that route, then yeah, we could also discuss that, like what's going to be a little bit better for running your monitor and also processing on your computer, and pretty heavy stuff like
Yeah.
shooting in 4K and different things like that when it comes to video, and then that whole render process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I gonna need a PC for this? Just because, like, I don't know, I kind of just full on just jumped into this. I really wanted to do photography, so I got a camera. It's a little bit of an older camera, so it's not really up to date with like all the newer ones and stuff. But I just got a laptop too. It's a Dell laptop. I don't know if that's, like, I know that's not
Yeah.
Apple, but do I need a PC for this?
Not necessarily. I
no.
mean, if we knew the specs of your Dell laptop, I mean, we could always talk about that as well. If you could tell us the specs, or give us an idea of what's in that machine.
You can even
It's
bring
basically
it in.
Yeah, I was
Right.
gonna say maybe I could even bring it in and just
Yeah.
talk to you guys, because honestly, I don't really know. Like, I'm not that familiar with like all the specs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't know it too well.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, bring
we
it
could-
in and we'll have a look under the hood and see what you got.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't worry too much about graphics cards right away, and especially for photography. Those 2 classes you mentioned that you're taking, I don't think will be too heavily involved with a video card. But yeah, if you do end up wanting to have a 4K monitor at home, then maybe. But we have all the resource here to start your semester. You probably don't even have to turn your laptop on the first day. We have
Yeah.
the lab, the classrooms. You can just book time outside of your class if you need to get work done, and you can book 30-minute sessions, and just book a few in a row. You can be in the lab for as long as you need, really.
Mhm.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
And even if it's a 1920 by 1080 monitor, you'll have amazing results. You'll get the eye for all the stuff that you're doing based off of the classes you're taking, and really you're training your eyes when it comes to the visual arts to see and to clear things up and different things like that.
Yeah. And you mentioned you have a camera that you have as well. You can also see what lenses that we have that might be compatible with your camera, or you can even just check out a different camera from our cage.
Okay, yeah, cool. Because I know that my camera is probably a little bit too old to do the things that I want to do, and I just realized that because I can take better pictures on my phone than I can with my camera. But I'm just trying to learn all the like ins and outs and all the different shutter speeds, stuff like that, just so that when I do get a nicer camera, I already kind of know the basics of how to do it.
Yeah.
But an old Fujifilm,
Oh wow.
it's a FinePix S.
Oh cool.
Very nice.
So it's like definitely an older digital camera.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, the foundation is the foundation. So yeah, they will go across the board, like you were talking about, learning it on that camera and then getting a better camera. which is probably a good process because I feel like a lot of people get used to, you know, the
Yeah,
features of the new cameras just doing the work for them.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I feel with the phone too. It's just like, I don't know, you take these pictures and they come out really nice and all of that, you know, but it's like anybody can use equipment that's really up to date and really good and make it look nice. But if you actually know how to like,
Mhm.
you know, mess with it and you know all the
Mhm.
ins and outs and you know how to use like Photoshop and things like that, that's when you can
Yeah,
really get like your best quality work, I feel like.
definitely.
Right.
Yeah, I was given a handy down DSLR camera, and it's I think it's from like 2005 or 2007, but it is no bells and whistles at all. It's just like very basic, and I think it's great because it's making me have to do everything manually, and it's not reduced to that like one button instant,
Yeah, right.
you know, user
Autofocus in
yeah,
like 10
user
different
friendliness.
areas.
Yeah, and you can dig deeper into, what does what, as far as your shutter speed or changing your aperture, things like that. I find
Yeah,
really
it's
fun.
nice. It
Hmm.
might be harder for sure, but it's gonna be worth it. I feel like to learn it from the bottom or start from the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah, and it gives you more opportunity to learn from trial and error too, and
Mhm.
like how to give more character to your images. Maybe because you find that, oh well, I was able to set the ISO really high, and now I have this grainy image, and I like that it looks a certain way, and you know,
I know, right? There are filters just to emulate those looks. And
yeah,
if you can get them straight from the camera, I'm sure that that's
right, yeah.
even better. Yeah.
Thanks for your question. That was a good one, Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no
Excited to see
worries.
this
I feel like
camera.
I want to ask a bunch of, not right now, but like throughout this whole process, I feel like I'm just gonna be asking a bunch of questions and I don't want to be asking too many, but I also want to just know as much as I possibly can and learn as much as I can.
yeah, yeah,
That's
definitely
totally
come
okay.
find me when you start and ask away.
Hmm.
Cool, cool. Thank you.
Hmm.
Any other questions, everybody?
Should we have a quick look at just the website, just so
Sure. Yeah.
everyone can check it out? All right. So this is the VAMA homepage. And if you just scroll down, we have it all categorized, upcoming and news. You can check out our Facebook page from here, upcoming events, our open houses, our next event after the tech seminar today. That's November 11th. That will be, I think so far we're talking about making that a combined in-person and virtual event. So you can tune in from home or from campus if you prefer. We have our fall class schedule here, which will be handy for you guys. The hours of our labs, studio, cage, quick link to the tutoring. And then everything that we talked about today is going to be under VAMA Department Resources and Recommendations. You can find the computer specifications that we recommend, the cameras and starter kits that we recommend for photography students, and then the list of software that you can find in our department, a general rundown of the gear that we have available for you guys to check out, as well as the lenses, a quick list of the printers that we have here in case you want to dig into those. And then we also have specifications for the computers in our classrooms, just in case you're wondering what is, on the computer you're working with in class. And then quick tips and how-tos, like we mentioned, as a VAMA student, you get the Adobe license. Well, how do you get that on your machine? This link will tell you how to do that, and how to get to the VMware, which is the remote access client if you wanted to access a machine in a classroom from your machine at home. And we mentioned that before, but you can also find how to do that here and how to access your Microsoft Office, which is another perk as a student. You get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, that whole thing. And then also down on the bottom, the pathways within VAMA. You know, if you need to look into your curriculum and courses that you're going to be taking to get your associates or whatever certificate you're aiming for.
Dang, by the looks of this, I should go to the District of Columbia if I want to make $82,000 a year.
Look up the cost of living too, though. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So, any other questions at this time? Well, we look forward to meeting you guys. Do come say hello in
Yeah,
August.
thank you all for coming.
I will definitely reach out, try to talk to you guys, about my laptop and a little bit more other stuff. But
Okay.
thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Leonidas, for being here.
Yeah, and if you have any questions even before the semester starts and such, please reach out. It's always good to get up and running. That way you don't have to worry about things, so much when the semester starts and you're just engulfed in classes and homework and all kinds of different things like that. Okay.
Signing out.
Have a great day, everybody.